Okay, so I would love to welcome you, Maria, in my second podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, and well, I would love if you can start with a brief introduction, if you would like to tell us something about yourself and about what you do.
Yes, of course. So I'm Maria Guerrero. I'm a self-love manifestation coach, tarot reader, human design reader, and then earth acupuncturist. Many other things, but that's mainly what I do. I became a self-love manifestation coach in 2019 when I left my corporate job in USA. So I was living the corporate life. I hated my job. I hated my life. I hated what I did. I hated where I lived. Like everything was like I was in rock bottom.
Wow.
And 2000, at the end of 2017, on my birthday, I said, I'm done living like this. Like, I'm done waiting for the next relationship. I'm done waiting for the time comes when I'm going to be happy. I'm done waiting for something to make me happy. Like, I just had that breakthrough. And that was the end of 2017. And 2018 is when everything just aligned for me. Self-love meditations, sacred geometry certification. I became My job became very easy and healthy, and everything just flowed in my life. And I practiced, lived, breathed self-love for all 2018. And then in 2019 is when I left the corporate job. I left my family. I haven't spoken to them since then. I bought a one-way ticket to Norway with only $1,000, and I'm like, I'm gonna manifest. If the law of attraction works, which I did believe it worked, but I had a safety net. I had my parents, I had their money, I had the job. I'm like, if it works, it's going to work anywhere, even if I don't have money, even if I don't have a house, it has to work. So when I went to Norway with only $1,000, I literally every day I was like visualizing and affirming and feeling good, right? Because I wanted to attract good experiences. And then I hitchhiked with random people. I slept on random people's couches, or yeah, like I was just like supported the whole time. And long story short, I traveled through Norway, Sweden, Amsterdam, France, and then Spain, all through manifestation.
Mm.
And now I'm here in Spain. I live in a beautiful house that I manifested within a month of visualizing and getting clear on what I wanted. I have everything that I want. I When I wrote what I wanted a surfing school nearby, the best gym nearby, the best restaurants. I wanted to draw and paint, and literally, like everything is a walking distance. Like 2 minute the gym, 8 minute the surfing school, 10 minute the art school. The ocean is right here. I wanted peace. I wanted to live alone. I wanted my house to be beautiful. And I'm the first person to rent this house. Like they bought everything new. So it's like I manifested this within a month. So I've been refining, and now I'm living my highest life ever. So I don't know if this was too much of an introduction.
Not at all, not at all. It's beautiful, like like the whole story. To know your whole story.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the big picture. Like there's so much that went in, there's so much that I lived, especially being alone and not having my parents. I really had to heal my wounds of support, because they were my support system, and I didn't know they were my support system until I left them. It's like I was always scared of where the money's gonna come from. I was scared that I was gonna be homeless. I was so scared of being homeless, right? And dying because I couldn't have money to afford. But then I've been healing it this literally since 2009, since 2019, the end of 2019 to now. It's like, no, like I am supported. I am always supported. And this is why I manifested all this, because I can have whatever I want. Um, and
Mhm.
money comes through different sources. It doesn't just have to come from one job.
So
So
how did you heal it? Like with affirmations, or did you do some Did you use more of some techniques? Did you use, or how did you heal this support wound that many others might be experiencing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was pretty obvious that it was a support wound because I'm alone, literally. Like I didn't know I had this until, like I said, in my early 30s. That like I was scared of being homeless, right? And I never had this fear, never. And then I would use Ho'oponopono, which is like a healing prayer, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry for me, thank you, I love you. In 2020, that's all I used. And I tried to use affirmations, scripting, but really it worked at some point. Like I would manifest money from my ex. So I was in a relationship in 2020, and when I wanted money, he suddenly like loaned me money. Or like I got the stimulus paycheck from the US government, like so, but it wasn't that much money. Like I barely made any money from doing what I love. Like I made me $1,000 from just me, and then maybe $5,000 from, my ex, and then the government. So like I didn't make much money, but at the same time, I was living in an amazing apartment with my ex. We had the view of the ocean in Barcelona. It was peaceful, so I had everything. Like I didn't realize that I had everything that I wanted, but I always connected money with success, money with abundance. But I was already abundant. So so it took me years. It took me 2020, 2021, and then this year, 2022, is when I really feel abundant. Like I don't doubt it. I know I'm gonna be supported. So it took me almost 3 years. It wasn't
Two
like a
years.
one technique. It was like layers, like the first year, like I really felt very unsupported. Even though I had everything, I was living my dream life in Barcelona. I felt like I was in survival mode pretty much. And like I didn't know how. I thought money was the answer. But then in 2000, so that was 2020, 2021, I surrendered and I'm like, I give up. I'm just gonna live happy where I am, how I am, and even if I don't have money. And then this surrendering to like not waiting for the money, not waiting for the money to give me what I want, which in reality I've always been manifesting what I want without money. It's like
Yeah.
the money just came. Like I got a part-time architecture job. My self-love tarot readings became very like potent and very like demanding. Like people were really buying my tarot readings, and it's because I wasn't wanting the money anymore. Like I was wanting it, but I wasn't desperate. So that was the next thing. I was making money. And then in 2022, which is this year, I really am living on not survival mode, not survival mode, but I am living like a balanced life. Like I work, but I enjoy it. I'm peaceful Monday through Sunday. I'm not peaceful only on the weekends. So this is like the next level. And I
Mm-hmm.
do affirmation. So I say I have enough time to do everything that I want, that I need, and I have extra time. Because I always lived in this like hustle mode, like I need to go faster. This year is like I have everything. I have my dream house, my dream home, dream pay, dream life. But when I do go back to the old self, it's like I use affirmations. Like I have more than enough time to do everything that I need, that I want, and I have extra time. And then literally everything just like changes. It's like
Mm.
my work becomes easy. I suddenly have more time. So yes.
So it sounds like you have been through like a huge progress, right? Which is actually like what I noticed also, because I met you like 2 years ago, right? And since that time, you just like snowball a lot, right? So that makes
Yeah.
me think, like, what is your vision? Like, do you have any more goals, or what's your overall vision in
Yeah.
the future?
Yeah, I mean, what my life now is literally the dream life that I've been wanting to manifest. Like I've been living my dream life, but it was always like half of it. And now I'm living all of it. So before I want my dream life, in when I was living in USA, it was to move to California to do surf and to be this hippie, right? And to make money doing what I love. That was my dream life. And then then I started to live parts of my dream life. I became a hippie, right? I became this nomad, but I wasn't surfing and I wasn't making money doing what I love, but I was traveling. Then all of a sudden, the next year, I was making money doing what I love, but I wasn't traveling as much. Now this year, I'm traveling, I'm doing what I love, and I'm surfing and I'm making art. So wait, what was your question? I forgot.
My question was, what is like your goal? Like, what is
Oh
your
yeah, my
bigger
goal.
vision for yourself? Like,
Yes,
because
of course. So
I already saw that you made it like such a long journey. So I'm just curious to know where you are heading at
yeah.
this point of your life.
Well, right now I'm so happy with
If that's
where I
something
am
you
that
want to share.
yeah, that I don't have like I always have goals, right? But like I'm so happy where I am that I'm just at peace and like everything just flows. So like just one example, like I arrived here 2 weeks ago and within the first 3 days I did my first surfing class. And then I've been doing surfing for two days a week. And then, but I have to wait for them to tell me when I can do the class. So on Thursday, I'm like, oh, I really wish I could surf today, but I have to wait until they tell me, that they're having a class. I'm like, I want to surf whenever I want. I remember I thought that on Thursday, I wish I could just surf whenever I want, like take the classes, not wait for them. And then literally within 3 hours, I saw this guy surf like skating, with a longboard,
Yeah.
and he was teaching people how to skate. And then I asked him, "How much are your classes?" He's like, "Oh, we offer skating classes, we offer surfing, we have surfing every day. You can just come and rent." I'm like, "Wow!" So like it just manifests, right? So it's so like on a micro thing, perspective, I'm getting what I want, but on a macro perspective, because I'm always changing, like I feel I'm a Sagittarius, so I feel like I'm always gonna be traveling, but I really have a strong desire to just have a base. And I really want this place to be my base, Conil de la Frontera. So my big dream, I'm sure it's gonna get bigger, but for now I just wanna own a house. So right now I'm paying for 6 months, like monthly rent for this house, but I really just wanna own a house, like pay it full here in Conil, and then yeah, that's really, and then surf, like do surfing competitions. I want to be a pro surfer, like go to Portugal in the future because that's where the pros
Uh-huh.
go. I want to do weightlifting competitions, so I do like I do two sports. I do now weightlifting, surf, and then next week I'm gonna take longboarding classes. So I'm gonna now be doing longboarding, and then I want to do like
You know, a lot of sport, right?
yeah, I have so much energy. And then, oh, yeah, another thing is I want to enroll into the Fine Arts School of Art of Barcelona. I don't know when. Like, this is where I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I have this while I live here? So I know something is gonna work out, but I want to do art on a daily basis and sell my art and get invited to like events to do art things, and then design circuit geometry homes in a beautiful way. See, like I guess I haven't gotten clear on this big picture, but for now I just want to own a house here and then go to the Fine Arts School of Barcelona while I live here. I know this doesn't make sense, but manifestation doesn't make sense. And become a pro surfer and do art every day.
This is really interesting because I know like many light workers, I think, or I see around that they don't like to sport so much, like to do sports.
Oh.
How would you say it's important, or how is it like helping you on your path?
I mean, because I'm in the 6 month program for human design in the Jinkies, like I've learned, through doing my own human design because it's based on astrology, numerology, I Ching, chakras. It's like we all have. It's like the human design gets to the point where like it says you should only, not only, but like you should eat cold food or you should eat warm food, or like it's like everyone has a different way of being healthy. And for me, since I was little, literally since I was like, since I can remember, I've always been so sporty. Like I have to do sports. Like I have to run. I have to get tired. I have to do exercise. So I'm a generator in human design. So I have a ton of energy, and I need to use it. If not, I get stressed and bored. So there's different types. I'm sure you've heard of it. So there's like the type of reflector. These people don't have energy. Like they get tired as soon as they stand up almost. So my is don't compare yourself to anyone. If you don't feel like working out or doing heavy stuff like me, but you feel like doing yoga or going on a walk and that makes you feel good, then do that. I feel like no sport is not spiritual. I feel like if you connect with it and if it makes you feel alive, it's spiritual. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's a great insight. Okay,
Thank you.
so what do you actually like? You would you like to share what you do like for your clients? What do you help them with?
Hmm. So with self-love and manifestation, I have self-love tarot readings, which are my most popular service. So I I don't know if I invented this, but I don't know anyone who does self-love tarot readings. So I give guidance on the people's biggest shadows, literally through the cards. So I channel their biggest blockages and then I give them advice on how to unblock them so they can manifest their dream life. Because if our dream life is just a manifestation of who we allow ourselves to be and who we are. So I help them get clear and help them unblock themselves by getting aware, like, oh, you're doing this. It's like stop putting this man on a pedestal. Like don't focus on this person, or you need to rest. Literally, this is what the cards will say. You need to to rest, sleep, slow down. So I help people get aligned through my self-love tarot readings, and then I have a monthly membership called Magical Metanoia Woman membership, where I help women manifest their dream life by just being part of this container. So I do monthly tarot readings. I do monthly live Zoom sessions where we all share our dream lives, our manifestation, because I never had anyone to talk about this. Like I was alone in my manifestation journey, so I wanted to create a group where like we could all share this magic and talk about it in a normal way. And yeah, and the girls have manifested amazing things. So tomorrow we're gonna have our live Zoom session for November. And then I have VIP programs, right? Where like I take girls, especially women, from zero, like they're like me in USA, they're like unhappy, they hate their jobs, they hate their lives, to like their dream life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my most expensive program.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what I do pretty much in the self-love area.
Mm-hmm. So you help people with self-love and living their dream lives.
Yeah, the dream lives. I feel like that's what I do. I help people manifest their dream lives by loving themselves.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's yeah, that's amazing. So how do you understand self-love? Like how do you recognize somebody who love themselves?
So I know someone that has a high self-love by just listening to how they speak. And like if they start to complain about life, then I know they don't love themselves because they're complaining, because you wouldn't complain if you loved where you were, if you loved what you're doing, right? But when people start to complain, it means they're not happy where they are, they're not happy who they are. But just by listening to them, if they have blockages. And I mean, that's pretty much how I know. Just when they start to speak. If they sound happy, I know they love themselves because they're doing what makes them happy. If they're complaining, if they just start to talk about the negative stuff, they have low self-love or low self-awareness, right?
Mm,
Mm.
okay. And so what are the techniques that you use to generate more self-love or to help them to reach more self-love?
Mm-hmm. So, well, first, always what I embody, of course, and practice, and then what I try to help my clients realize is that They're responsible for their life, right? They created it. So you're not trying to get away from something because in reality you would be trying to get away from yourself. So when you accept this, okay, you created it, how can I change it? Then for me, affirmations, literally, this is what I'm using to manifest, literally, affirmations. So I would ask them, so what I would say is like, what is it that you want to do? Like, what's the outcome, right? Like your dream job, okay, what kind of dream job? What do you think you're gonna get out of it? I just want to live a life that's peaceful and I want to do what I love. Okay, so I'm so grateful that I get paid doing what I love. Like I would say, do this affirmation 100 times a day, and don't say anything else about the job. Don't say that you're jobless, that you don't have enough money. Like block all the negativity and only focus on the positive affirmation.
Mm.
I know it sounds intense, but this
Sounds
is how
powerful.
I get myself out of negative loops, or at least in the past.
Yeah, like how do you do it when, for example, like when especially at the beginning, when the negative thoughts start like creeping in? How
Yeah.
how do you stop them?
So one, if you can ask, well, so okay, so of course there's mindfulness, right? Where like you focus on the breath and all that stuff. But for me, if I have this belief, negative belief, my breath is not going to stop them. So what I do is I do one or two things. One or two things. One, either I accept the worst case scenario, because when you accept the worst case scenario, then you cannot be negative anymore because you already accepted it. So like when I got this part-time job, in architecture in 2021, I had this big fear that I was going to get fired. I don't know why, but I just had this fear of losing the job.
Hmm.
Right. And this went on for like 6 months. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Like I had this energy. I was just in the energy of, I guess, fear of survival still. And then after 6 months, I'm like, fuck it. If I lose it, I lose it. And if I lose it, I'm going to find another one. So I accepted that I can get fired and I just didn't care anymore. And I never got fired. It was just like this self worth, low self worth.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
accepted it and I stopped worrying about it. So accept it, accept the worst case scenario, because when you accept it, it loses its power. And then you stop being negative over it. And then so accept it, and if you cannot accept it, it's like, no, it's impossible, then you need to change something, right? So how I change anything is through manifestation. I don't Sometimes I actually do some stuff, like I say like, don't do this, don't do that, but usually I visualize and I affirm what I want to change in my life.
That's
So
uh-huh.
So yeah, like accepting it or changing it. This is how I stop my negativity.
That sounds powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so, like the short way is to accept that this might happen, but if you
Yeah.
want to go deeper or to heal it, you just look into the cause, right? Or like you heal the cause.
Yeah. Or if you cannot accept it, or like accept it, I always accept it, because for me, accepting it is surrendering. It's like you stop fighting. It's so important to not be fighting and be desperate in that energy. So when you accept, it's like you go back to zero. And then I focus on the affirmations. It's like I receive money from known and unknown sources on a daily basis, right? Like I just fill myself with positive affirmations. Like I love my peaceful, cozy, magical, affordable home, right? Instead of focusing on what I don't have, I focus on what I have, because I already accepted the worst case scenario. So I have nothing to lose because I already lost it by accepting
Mm,
it.
okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, let's see what else do we have here. Mm, well, are there any misconceptions about manifestation or self-love? Uh, because
Yeah.
these
I
are like
mean,
they are very popular concepts, right? That are very very well known and
mhm.
like also very like published recently. Like Is there something that you would like to point out, like that you don't agree with, or some?
Mm, yeah, I guess like people who have misconceptions about self-love is because they're not practicing self-love, in my opinion. Like they're not. They're just, I feel like the people who judge the most are the people who never tried that. They never tried it. So they have all these ideas. So these kinds of people, they think self-love is like self-care, like taking baths, like lighting up a candle, like going on taking yourself on a date. I feel like that's what they think self-love is, but because they don't practice it. But
Okay.
it's not true. Self-love is like very deep. It's like it's the relationship with yourself. It's how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself. Yeah,
So except self nurture, like what else is there? Or
yeah, it's like marrying yourself. It's like um curing your wounds. It's like going back to your past. It's like paying attention to how you think, paying attention to your behaviors. It's like building this relationship from zero and like paying attention to you, like why you are the way you are, why you like the things that you like, why don't you like the things that you don't like. It's like it's an
mm,
internal thing. It's an internal journey.
yeah, that reminds me the quote, as they say that first self love comes, and then everything will fall together.
Yeah,
Just
exactly. Yeah, it's true.
would you say it's the secret of like why or what it makes easier to
Yeah,
manifest and
yeah.
attract things in life?
Yeah, this is why my big program is called the magic of self-love. Is because literally when you love yourself, you attract magic. Literally, like like on Thursday, today's Sunday, no, today's Saturday. On Thursday,
Yeah.
I really wanted to surf whenever I wanted. I didn't want to wait on the instructors to tell me when I could serve. So there, I chose self love. I'm like, I wasn't obedient. I wasn't, well, okay, I'll just wait, like they know best. I became selfish. I'm like, no, I want to choose when I want. Even though I have zero experience still in surfing, I'm like, I want to choose when I go. I want to choose. Literally 2 hours later, I meet a guy who has a surfing school like right next to my house, and I can surf every day. So yeah, exactly. When you love yourself, when you choose what you want, magic happens, magic aligns. Yeah.
Oh, that. But how do you integrate it with what other people want, for example?
That's, oh my gosh, that has been my struggle of my life. Not this year. This year, I'm like living my highest life ever. But like, I've I've struggled with this coming from my Mexican family, or like the parents. They think they can always tell you what to do. Their word is, sacred. And this is why I left my family in
Hmm.
2019, and I haven't spoken to them because speaking to them is like going back into their cage. So I feel like not a lot of people can do what I do, which I literally just cut people off, or I cut my family off, and I set myself free from these cages of people's opinion. So I literally stop talking to people. Like if I feel like they're being negative, I stop talking to them. Or I feel like they're being jealous or they're bringing my energy down, I just stop talking to them. I know this is probably not, like I said, not a lot of people can do this. Not a lot of people can divorce their husband so they can stop talking to their family. But what I started to do with the relationships that I'm attracting now, because like like I'm on a different level of manifestation this year. So now I literally affirm what I want this person to do. I say, I'm so happy and grateful. Like this person is so kind and nice to me. Literally, like,
Uh-huh.
so I would recommend for the people who get affected by other people's opinions to say, I'm so grateful that I'm always supported by my husband. I'm so grateful that my husband loves listening to me. I'm so grateful that my husband supports me and my travels. It's like I would say create affirmations that align with what you want.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. And sounds very powerful. Like you sounds like you are very aware that you create everything in your life
Yeah,
and
for
you are
sure.
manifesting. And what do you do if you manifest something what you don't like? How do you work with it? If it still happens to you, maybe you don't experience it anymore. I don't
No,
know.
I do. I still experience it. Yeah. So, so, so what do I do? So like, okay, so I'll just tell you one of my biggest blockages right now that I'm working through and I'm manifesting through. It's like art. So I have this blockage with art, right? With creating art. And since I came here 2 weeks ago, one of my goals is to surf like at a high level. It's funny because I really have no experience and then be an artist, consider myself an artist and have this habit of making art, high quality art on a daily basis. This is my goal. I don't do art since I entered university a long time ago and I don't surf. So surfing became very easy because I don't have any blockages, right? Like I manifested it 2 days when I arrived. It's like there was this school, I enrolled, I surf, and now I can literally surf waves. Like it was easy. But why is okay? Then this art school. I found this art school um 5 days ago, like 10-minute walk from here. This artist, she graduated from the School of Barcelona. She's actually famous. Like she gets invited to do shows of sand art. I've seen some of her YouTube videos before she has a school here. So it took a little bit longer
Uh-huh.
because I do have blockages, right? I have like childhood wounds of like my parents telling me I would be homeless if I study art, telling
Mm,
me not to do art, so I have all this trauma. But I manifested it, right? And and it's not as fluid as surfing because I have these things inside, so like I felt like she was kind of like, I don't know, like kind of rude to me in the beginning. And
mm-hmm,
I know it's because I have this pain, right, with art and maybe someone not liking my art. But it's okay. It's like I accept it. It's like this is better than nothing. This is better not than not coming to art. This is better than being where I was. So I appreciate my manifestations, then it's like how like what must I be feeling and believing for her to treat me like this? And then I remember in high school, like I went to this art, how do you say, like enrollment? I don't know.
yeah.
Like I showed my art portfolio to like these art instructors at an art college, and my mom came with me. And I could feel my mom, she didn't want me to do well. She didn't want me to study art. So I could feel her bad energy. And then this guy or teacher, art teacher, he looked at my art and he's like, no, this wouldn't be good. And that like pierced my heart. And I could tell my mom was happy. It's like, okay, good. She's gonna study art. So I feel like this art teacher being rude connected to my childhood. So it's like just paying attention and being patient. It's like, okay, like I'm healing it. That's not me anymore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
like not true. I'm good. So it's just being my own cheerleader and being patient and keep
uh-huh.
asking for what I want because I do want to draw art, even if it's not as fluid as surfing. It'll become fluid. I just need to keep going, keep affirming what I want and taking action.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So some things is easier to manifest, some things is more difficult to
Yeah,
manifest.
depending on your past, of course.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also like you keep progressing on the path, right? So you yourself kind of like you practice your own teaching on yourself.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
And what happens like because now we had quite like a little bit intense 2 years, right? It's still not fully closed. I mean, like there's still this global transformation, and
Yeah.
sometimes like people have been through difficult times. Or what do you do if you feel like you get a little bit lower, or how do you raise your frequency? Basically, what do you use to raise your
Like
frequency?
for people who are changing jobs because of this pandemic and stuff. So yeah, I do know some people. that are here, and that actually I've been helping one client like getting unstuck because he's been depressed literally since the COVID started because he lost his business and he doesn't know what to do, like
Mm-hmm.
anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna tell you what I told him and how I've been helping him.
Yeah.
So so get clear on what you want. It's always this, like why do you want the job, right? Like what's the purpose of the job? Is it obviously you don't just want to work. There's something. So like for example, this client, he wanted the job, he wanted to work so he could travel. So he could like go to different cities and meet people. So this was why he wanted the job. So when we talked about it and we got clear on the big picture, he released more of this anxious energy, like I have to earn money in order to pay my bills, which I think is for me is harder for to work with men because they're very logical. But but I also started to work with his human design. So like, okay, you guys don't have human design, but like human design is all about self-love. What do you want? What makes you happy? What makes you feel alive? And then being bold to ask for it. And then following your passion, like what lights you up. So my client, he has this cooking school in Spain, but he doesn't feel light up by it anymore. So he started to take art classes. I mean, sorry, photography classes because he really likes photography. But he has this thing that he needs to earn money in order to enjoy things, right? And it's like, no, just follow what lights you up, and the money will follow. Like what lights you up is your currency. You know, is where the money's gonna flow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is what I would say, like start there and then use affirmations. Like if you're like my client, he has this cooking school. So start affirming the new version of the cooking school. It doesn't need to be like before, and it doesn't need to be hard and stressful, right? Do it differently. Like I earn money easily and peacefully, right? Because we tend to think that we earning money is hard and stressful. So easily and peacefully. My my school supports me in my dreams, right? So like so start affirming how you start transforming the job that you have or the new job that you want in the way that you want it to support you, right? You don't have to fit in a job, like make it fit into you. I don't know if this is helping um, with your question, Claire.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Like, because I think many people are going through it. Like, even people who had like kind of like their dream jobs, I feel they are going through transitions, right? Because what used to work for them before is not working. So, like, everybody, I feel is like upgrading or changing in some way.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, but I was just thinking, like, so to create it like the way they want, right? Like to adapt it to basically like to be aware that you create everything and you can have everything, kind of, right? It's what
Yeah,
you.
and getting clear, um, like if money was not a problem and if you could just invent a job out of nowhere, what would you do? You know?
Mm, that's
So
interesting.
yeah, so like get clear like on the type of people that you want to work with. Do you want to work with them in person or not? How much you want to get paid? What kind of work do you want to do? How many hours do you want to work? And
Hmm.
then if you have like too many blockages, if you're like no one would ever pay me, if you have like all these self-worth blockages, um, then go back to something that you got paid to do before. I know maybe people don't like to hear this, but like this is what I had to do actually with architecture. I'm like, okay, self-love manifestation is not that people are not really paying me that much to survive. So I went back to architecture, but I made it to be adapted to me. So I'm like, it's gonna be digital. I'm gonna only design homes and I'm gonna work like how I want to work, right? So last year, like I went on this nomad trip to France. I was working digitally. I was working the hours that I wanted to work, and I was working only on homes. So, and I
Oh,
didn't have any issues with money because I've only been getting paid with architecture. So it was easy for money to flow through there. So this is also what I recommend.
So you got back to what you used to do in the past, but you owned it, right? You
Yeah,
made.
I changed it. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do fucking commercials, work 40 hours. I'm not gonna work in a toxic environment. I'm gonna do this, because I know I get paid doing this, right? And with
Mhm.
self-love and manifestation, I don't know anyone who gets paid doing this. I couldn't comprehend how I could get paid doing this, so I had to change to something that I know I get paid. And now I'm
Ah,
getting paid doing both. More architecture than self-love manifestation, but still I get paid doing both this year.
uh-huh, uh-huh. So
So
you actually you design homes, right? Based on, or like architecture based on sacred geometry, right?
well, this is my private projects, but I mainly do homes for, like, right now I'm working on a project, like designing a home was
Uh-huh.
almost complete, but on a shipping container. So these two homes in shipping containers in Texas. So I want to design cool homes, homes that I have never done before, creative homes. So these are not sacred geometry, but I am working on the side with my own private clients, like harmonizing their homes, sacred geometry, but it's mostly um, homes with this architecture company that I work for.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Sounds really creative.
Yeah, like this is what I would say for sure. Like do something that you've been paid before, but make it better. Make it you enjoy the job. Don't you don't have to go back to the old toxic job. It can be different.
Mm. Do you plan to
Mhm.
design a home also for yourself?
Hmm. I've thought about this. I thought about this and I'm like, I'm gonna design it in paper, like universe. I want art studio, I want sun, I want light, I want the view of the ocean, but I want it to already be built. It's like I want it to already exist.
Uh-huh.
So I don't
Uh-huh.
care about building it, but I do care about all these things.
Okay, okay. And yeah, and what one we are I think heading to an end, and I feel
Okay.
like this year has been like one of the like biggest topics was I feel like romantic relationships, because like many people broke up, right, or
Oh,
many people got together. And so I'm wondering, like, if you have any tips for people how to attract their soulmate, their dream soulmate.
hmm. Wow. Yes. Yes, I do. I feel like this is my second specialty. After dream life, my second specialty, I think, is relationships, like love relationships, not especially love relationships. Other relationships, I'm not that expertise because I like being alone, so I don't really spend time with people.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
With love. So, I would say just like your dream house, just like your dream job, just like your dream life, you need to get specific on how you want this person to be. Literally, like
You mean
as soon as
even their
huh?
physical characteristics, for
Yeah,
example, or
yeah, like
everything?
yeah, I know. I feel like first of all, we need to get rid of what is not spiritual. It's like, oh, it's not spiritual to focus on the physique, but we're sexual animals. We are attracted to the physique. So you need to be specific on the physique, the color, the height, anything that you know is gonna turn you on. You need to be specific. So it could be their personality, the way they treat you. It could be their values, their physique, the like how they treat you. So like I really wanted to be treated with respect, number one, because I've been treated so disrespectfully in most of my relationships. One, respectfully, and I want to be treated romantically. So I really like date, I really like kisses and hugging. So I want him to be romantic, respectful, and independent, because I don't want another emotional, unavailable man. It's like I want him to be strong, independent, alone.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, that's what I got. So get clear on what the type of guy that you want, and don't forget about spirituality. If you're a spiritual person, and forget about forget that the human has feelings. So treat this criteria as a recipe. Like if I asked you, create a pizza, like put all the toppings. But if you say no, only good-looking girls can have cheese on it. No, like don't think that an ingredient is more worthy than others. If you want the guy to be good-looking, say good looking. If you want the guy to be spiritual, then say he's spiritual.
Mm-hmm. And what would you recommend to people? Like, for example, to me, it happens that I do this, of course, as well. Like I manifest, but then and from the beginning, the relationship can feel like fairy tale, but then eventually, after some time, it can go back to the old story, because it just asks me like to heal it on a deeper level. What would you recommend for these scenarios? Is it
Uh-huh.
possible to avoid this, or
Like going back to
in the
like
relationship? Yes, that at the beginning it might be like this dream manifestation that I wrote down,
yeah.
but eventually after some time it starts to remind like the old partners.
Hmm. So because I also kind of started to do this with the relationship now, it's like I started to think like before too. So in reality, I manifested it because I unconsciously started to think like before, like I started to think like this submissive woman, obedient, like what does he want me to do? What if he doesn't like this? What if it's like no, he's my creation. This
That's
is
good.
what I want him to be like.
Okay.
It's his power, like no, it's how I want him to be like. So I would create affirmations like he treats me with so much respect and love. He loves showing me off. He loves taking me out on dates. He loves making love to me. He loves spending time with me. So I started to go to create affirmations and then say these because I realized that I was actually thinking negative. And then he changed. He was like being maybe a little rude, or he wasn't being romantic anymore, and then I had this belief like oh, the love already went away, the spark went away. And it's like no, that's like we're in love, we're deeply in love. Like so I affirmed it and I wrote it, and then I'll read these every single day, and then literally he changed within a day. So I would say good affirmations, like people think, most people, this is maybe a misconception of manifestation that you cannot manifest people changing, but I believe you can. So create affirmations like you would create for a house, and make it look like a game. Like let's see how he changes. Like let's see how he changes with these new affirmations.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they work.
Well, one more. Do you have any tips for like for people who are just starting, who want to be like also like life coaches or guides? Is there something would you would recommend them to become successful?
Um, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of also in my beginning journey. This is like my 2021. This is my third year being a self-love coach manifestation. And what I've learned through my mistakes is that you're gonna fail a lot, and in the sense that like maybe no one is gonna want to buy anything from you in the beginning. So it's okay, like keep showing up. Like people are gonna remember you, and then you're gonna become so confident, such an expertise in what you do that when people think of self-love, they're gonna think of me. When they think of terror, they're gonna think of me. So be consistent, don't give up, because in 5 years, three, like you're gonna get past the uphill, you're gonna be like up here. And also give. I feel like I spent the first year for sure like trying to get. I'm like, buy from me, I need the money. So like, then later I learned, no, I need to give, because this is, people need this from me. I need to serve. So focus on serving. Like if you have a gift, give the gift. People need it. And then with manifestation, with affirmations, and with if you get ideas, create programs, create packages, but don't focus on getting, focus on giving. and then yeah,
Mm,
build that, like the audience, that people who love you, who trust you, and then they're gonna become your clients, or they'll come from somewhere else. But I think like really focusing on giving value instead of getting is the key to being successful.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's inspiring.
Yeah.
So you already mentioned it a little bit, but what are the ways you work with your clients, or where they can find you? Like, you have your
Yes.
own sessions, right? No, yeah. Tell us.
Yeah, so they can find me on YouTube. My channel is Hippie Mágica. Instagram, it's the same, hippie.mágica. And I literally share my life. And I also, especially my YouTube channel, I'm gonna be more consistent now because I realize that this is what I really love to do.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be posting like meditations on healing yourself and self-love. So you're always gonna receive value from me no matter what. But if you want a deeper, more accelerated transformation, then you can buy my tarot readings, you can get into my memberships, you can buy my courses, and I'm gonna help you, because I'm gonna set intentions for us together, and I'm gonna use my intuition, and I'm gonna help you get straight in your mind, because I feel like, in my opinion, 80% is mental. It's like, what are you thinking? Like change one thought and your entire life changes. Like, so yes, you can find me YouTube or Instagram.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, one more. I had like, what are the most magical things that you manifested? Because from what I heard, what you described, like you totally rebuilt yourself, right, in the process. What would you say are the best things that you manifested in your life during your
Oh,
journey?
okay. Maybe I'll keep it short because I feel like I could tell you like 100 things. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to only say four. So for sure, one of the biggest things is like getting out of my house in USA and getting out of that prison hustle culture in being a digital nomad. I feel like that was my biggest first manifestation, like being a free digital nomad. Number two is moving to Spain. Moving to Spain and getting my residence in Spain. I literally did not think this, did not want this. I didn't intend this. It just happened. But it happened because I knew I wanted to live in a certain place with certain qualities, and the universe brought me here. So this was my second biggest amazing manifestation. My third manifestation is, I think, my jobs. So like being able to work from anywhere at any time, the hours that I want, whenever I want. This is like my third biggest manifestation because it allows me to be independent. And then my fourth manifestation is literally the life that I manifested here in Cadiz. So like the house, all the activities around me, living alone in a 3-bedroom house, living on the edge of the village where it's quiet. So it's like, so yeah, these are the things that I'm the most proud of that I manifested.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much. You are so inspiring.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure it will be very beneficial for others to watch.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Claire. You ask amazing questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, is there any final message that you would like to share with others, or anything more that you would like to say?
Um, so there was one question that I like that you told me to think about was what made me put myself first in
Ah,
relationships.
yeah.
And I thought this was a very good question. So what makes me put myself first in relationships? Every relationship. And it's hard, because like people want me to do certain things. Like people, because people are selfish, they want you to do certain things because it's good for them. So what I do is I accepted a long time ago that I would be happy being alone and single. I accepted when I left USA that I would be happy being alone and single. So if I ever feel like someone is gonna get mad if I tell them how I truly think, And I'm like, it's okay. I am okay losing their friendship. I'm okay losing the relationship because I'm happy being alone. So I think being happy and accepting that you could be happy simply being alone with yourself. You could easily put yourself first in any relationship because you have nothing to lose. Because you already accepted that you will be happy being alone. So this is my advice, final advice.
That's nice because I feel this fear of rejection and abandonment is probably the deepest that people have.
Hmm. There you go. Imagine if rejection and abandonment. Yeah, that's huge. For sure, I've had the rejection, the abandonment. I haven't had, but rejection, yes. So I would say be happy, be accept that you could be alone for the rest of your life. Imagine this: if you had to be alone for the rest of your life, could you live with yourself being alone? If you say no, then you need to really accept yourself being alone. It's like, how could I be alone? I need people. I need blah, blah. It's like, imagine a world where you were the only person alive. What would you do? And it's like, okay, maybe I would do this, do that. Like, you can find ways to be happy being alone. So in that, I think diminishes this energy of like abandonment. Like, what if they leave me? Then who cares? You're gonna be with you, and you're gonna be good alone. Or what if they don't like me? It's okay. Like they're missing out because you have so much to offer, and they're not the right person for you. So that's what I would say.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I will.